You know what? Fuck the intro. Welcome to Straight Up Reviews, where there's no bullshit beyond the sign. I am here to express my bitter disappointment focused on all critics, but directed to one specific target. Rotten Tomatoes. Why? Because they give Batman v Superman less than 30 on a critic rating. Now, normally I could care less about what they think, because everyone's entitled to their opinions. However, when people make up their minds before actually seeing the movie, which clearly they did, then that's where I draw the line. There will be spoilers.
18 months after the events of Man of Steel, Superman officially established himself to the world, and much like the people who've seen the movie, the people of the world are split between whether or not Superman is a force for good, or that he may one day use his power to destroy the planet.
That's golden, since Snyder intended this to happen. What people fail to realize is that the DC Cinematic Universe they were trying to create was meant to convey what the heroes would be like if they were introduced into the real world. And quite frankly, if you guys saw Superman in real life, you wouldn't think of thanking him for saving lives or stopping the KKK, not even kidding, he did that in real life. You would actually ostracize him and would do anything in your power to try to kill him, and don't you deny it.
After a bombing caused by an anti-Superman protester that happened to work for Wayne Enterprises, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, puts the cowl back on after a long retirement and sets out to find a weakness for Superman.
What I like about this is that they did what most superhero movies never even thought of. They recreated a well-known scene, in this case the battle between Superman and Zod, and put it in the perspective of someone else, in this case Bruce Wayne, who just heard about the fight and went there personally to make sure his employees at the Metropolis branch of Wayne Enterprises didn't get hurt and killed in the crossfire. The tower that Zod incinerated in Man of Steel was Wayne Tower.
Around the same time, Lex Luthor and the American military discover among the remains of the World Engine, a terraforming machine designed to turn Earth into Krypton, a very familiar green rock whose radiation is deadly to Kryptonians.
You guessed it, they found kryptonite.
When Bruce goes to find the info needed to steal said kryptonite, he meets Diana Prince, a diplomat from Themyscira, who has her own reasons for investigating Luthor, which may be the key to finding other potential heroes out there, including but not limited to the Flash, Aquaman, and Victor Stone, aka Cyborg.
Now, this part I do agree with, that they rushed the other heroes in this movie. But at the same time, they introduced them in a way that Batman and Wonder Woman would be able to discover them, while at the same time give a horrifying revelation that Lex Luthor knows the identity of each hero this time around, making him a more simple threat.
It all comes to a head when Lex Luthor kidnaps Martha Kent, demanding that Superman brings him Batman's head or she dies. Superman tries to take the third option and asks the Dark Knight for help, but hearing none of it, the fight begins.
I've seen the fight myself, and it is by far one of the most creative fights in the history of the superhero movies and action movies in general. It shows how pragmatic Batman can be when taking on a foe as powerful as Superman, and Superman's determination not to kill him, he did Zod. It also had a few funny moments. My personal favorite being Batman punching Superman as the latter slowly regains his invulnerability. It's like something out of a live-action Looney Tunes cartoon.
Batman gains the upper hand, but Clark begs him to save Martha, which causes Batman to realize their mothers share the same name. Seeing it as a second chance to redeem himself for his own parents' demise, Batman teams up with Superman and saves Martha. Lex, naturally pissed off at his plans being thwarted, unleashes Doomsday, a hybrid that shares both Lex and Zod's DNA. Just when Superman and Batman think they're screwed, Diana shows up in full Wonder Woman attire to join the fray. However, it all ends when Superman sacrifices himself to kill Doomsday.
So in essence, he killed Zod twice and killed himself on the second run. I would be surprised, but if they keep this going, which they will, Super will be back by the time Justice League comes around. Now that I've gotten out of the way, let's list the excuses people have for hating this movie.
Ben Affleck playing Batman.
This was going on long before the trailers hit. Ever since Daredevil, nobody liked the idea of Affleck playing a superhero, let alone one of the most badass ones. What a load of shit, and I'll tell you why. 1. Daredevil wasn't his fault. He did his best. The movie was a result of bad directing, not bad acting. 2. He proved his acting worth in another superhero-related movie called Hollywoodland, where he played late Superman actor George Reeves, and has grown since then as an actor and a director. And 3, much like Michael Keaton, the key to Batman isn't the badass in the armor suit, but the billionaire you least suspect him to be under it. That's how Keaton did it, that's how Affleck is doing it, and it's worked pretty well so far. And to be fair to most people who hated this idea, it started to die down the second they saw the trailers. But there's always those too stubborn to admit they're wrong.
Wonder Woman introduced too early.
Now this one is bullshit because of one simple principle. You cannot have a Justice League without at least establishing the DC Trinity. And you can't have that without Wonder Woman. Not to mention, it has been decades since they did a decent live-action variation of Wonder Woman. Too early? This was a long time coming. As for those who say a model can't play Wonder Woman, Gadot was in the military at first. If anything, the role is too perfect for her.
Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Okay, this one I somewhat agree with. For one, originally it was rumored that Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad fame was to be playing Lex Luthor, and that would have worked. However, Eisenberg was also a great choice. When I think of evil billionaire that wants to control the world, I think of two people. Lex Luthor through his money in technology, and Mark Zuckerberg through his money in Facebook. Plus, he can easily turn from charming and smug to sinister when he needs to get serious. Hell, he gave a senator a jar of piss before killing her and pushed Lois Lane off a building. If that's not evil, I don't know what is.
Doomsday.
Where do I begin? They didn't like the early shot of him because they thought it was inaccurate, despite the fact that if you saw the actual movie, he starts to transform into the Doomsday we know and hate. Him being there means Superman's gonna die. I admit that I did not see that one coming, but Supes at least went out swinging, and isn't that what you initially want in a superhero movie if you're gonna kill the main hero off? And last but not least, Wonder Woman being able to whip Doomsday. Now, everyone who's ever read a comic or seen a cartoon would tell you that every incarnation of Doomsday is either full or at the very least half Kryptonian. And what's Kryptonian's second most powerful weakness other than kryptonite? Magic. Because it defies all sense of logic in the physical world. So any science fiction based being good or evil, Superman or Doomsday, would not be able to adapt or combat against it. Ergo, since Wonder Woman comes from an island that worships Greek gods and goddesses, and the DC universe has established that they're not advanced aliens like the MCU, but more otherworldly beings, then her arriving there would pretty much turn the tide over. If she hadn't arrived there, there would be 4 coffins instead of 2. I'm not even kidding. They gave a coffin to both Clark Kent and Superman, so odds are they would do the same for Bruce Wayne and Batman like Dark Knight Rises. The movie is unique, and that's why you critics hate it. You cannot comprehend it, and you just weren't ready for it. It wouldn't be the first critic flop that gets vindicated by history, so wait and see. You may end up regretting what you say about it. I honestly believe you guys didn't expect a movie like this to exist. So you were kind of thrown off guard on it. Let it grow on you. Think about it for a while. As usual, debate, argue, let me know what I missed. Stay tuned for more.